Good evening, traders. It's the 2nd of June. Market will be opening in a few hours. I've just done my review and there is a lot that I will be looking at going into the week. Some of it is a little ways away, maybe a few days. Some of it may be Monday or Tuesday. As always, not all of it will come off, and we may not get entries on some of these, but there is some nice looking setups in the market. So we're going to start off on the Aussie dollar. So we are trading inside this wick, but I'm going to put a structure level on at the close of that candle, and if we just look here, we can see there's a level of structure right here, and it does look as though we're slowly working our way up to it. We can see this clearer on the 240. Now what's really interesting here is that if we put a structure level on, we had 1, 2, 3 tests at that zone, and in fact if you look up here you can see our next level just up here as well, which we have not tested. So we still have room for this market to come higher. Maybe let's have a look. How many pips are in this? Maybe 30 pips, something like that. What interests me though is this right here. I'm going to put another structural level on, and at this level just here, 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 here and here, we've actually held it. And what I will be waiting for is for the market to violate those highs, see a pullback, because we would then have a very nice area of what is now resistance would come support, and I'd look for something like a double bottom here and a chance to ride that up for around 30 pips, potentially even a bit higher. We are being very conservative with targets there, but anywhere in this outside return I would look for potential targets. Euro yen on the daily, waiting for a 60-minute violation. So euro yen, big bearish candle on Friday, which was today's Monday, so just the trading day yesterday. Now pay attention though, we are within the wicks here, something to pay attention to. We are not oversold on the RSI, but we are at the 121 psychological number on the dailies. Dropping to the 240, pay attention to this. We technically did not have a new a break below, close below on this 240 candle. So if I move this up, this entire wick here is technically still a structure hold, which is still that 121 psychological number. It's just something to pay attention to. What else did we have? Okay, on the 60, if we do get a confirmed break here, I will look for a pullback. So we had to move lower, I pull back, I move lower. And as I say, this concerns me is that we didn't violate this level. But if we violate this level, I will be looking for a pullback into the outside return and a chance to get short. Let's go and take a look at the Euro Aussie. We have a possible trend continuation trade. Now it's on the dailies, and I don't think we'll get an entry on the 240, but okay, a structure level on here at the closes of the candles, a structure level on at the wicks at the top, and you can see we've held that structure. We're trading in between it. A structure level on at the closes of the candles up here, where I believe price is going to go. We've already had the confirmed breakout, and we're seeing a pullback into this zone right now, this 16100 level, and I would look for a continuation up to this level for around 215 pips. However, if we do drop down the time frames, price is just not moving in a way where I may get an entry. If we look down here at this structure level, we had a nice 3-bar reversal, we had a move higher, but this is what I'd like to show you here on the 60. This is quite interesting. I would need a very conservative entry here. So from this point we had a move higher, then we saw a pullback, then we had a confirmed break above, close above, and a pullback. Now, we held the wicks, we did not violate them. Technically this is not a violation. Then we had another move higher, another break above, close above, okay, then another pullback. Here's the wicks, okay, we did not technically violate the wicks. Extra caution here though, because we're only just making new highs and we are retracing all the way back down into the outside return. So there is a clear trend here, but it's weak because we're pulling all the way back. So if you are looking for an entry here, I would look only within the wicks, and I would be dropping down the time frames for something like a double bottom, maybe even a violation of the double bottom, so a confirmed double bottom, confirming there's a potential rotation. There's no head and shoulders here for me, but something with some confirmation, and I would be looking at riding this up to at least this level for first target. It's a good 60 pips up for grabs if that comes off. In terms of a double bottom, well, I don't think we're going to get the formation for one here, but we did have the RSI go oversold on this first touch. Let's go and look at the pound Aussie trend continuation opportunity on here. I spoke about this in the a few times in the quick hit review videos. We were paying attention to this. We had a couple of nice winners in that zone. I did say ultimately I'm looking at price coming to this level. We have not yet reached that zone. There is still room for this market to come lower. Here on the 240 we have not had, even though this looks lower than this wick, this is not a confirmed break below, close below, so there's nothing on the 240. Here on the 60, here on the 60, I think it was the same story. Yet here on the 60, because of this spike, again we do not have a confirmed break below, close below. So even though I believe price could come lower, there's no confirmation here. It's dropped down to the 15. It looks a bit of a mess if I'm completely honest with you. I would look for, if you're looking for some sort of entry reason, it's going to have to be on the lower time frames. Yeah, you're not going to get anything here. What I would look for, in my opinion, is I would look for something like a head and shoulders. And so if you look at this as being the entire outside return, you could look for something like this, where you had a new high, a pullback, a new high. Look for a pullback, make sure that this is a confirmed break below, close below, giving you a potential rotation. Look for a pullback, maybe even into the wicks of the left shoulder, and look for a double top, a conservative entry here, maybe even a violation, a confirmed double top where we violate the V point, confirming, giving you a high probability trade, stops just above the high. And if you can get something like that, you have the potential to ride this down for around 70 pips. These things do happen, you just have to wait for extra confirmation. Let's go and look at the pound yen. Pound yen has been moving very directionally. Beautiful close on yesterday or Friday, this lovely lower low, lower close. We put a structure level on at the closes of our candles. There is still room for this market to come lower, 85 pips worth. Let's go down to the 240. What does concern me a little here is that we are moving very directionally. Very few pullbacks, but on the 240 we had a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, a pullback, a move lower. We would, if we can get a pullback up to this zone here, this is a very small outside return, you'd be looking at a small amount of risk, maybe something like this, for a nice reward just to retest the lows there and potentially even go lower to those extended targets. But because we are moving very directionally, pay attention to what we're doing right here. Very directional move, a very small pullback, and depending what we do next, if we do violate this level, this is again a small outside return. Look for a pullback and a chance to ride it down to that daily structure level. Let's go and take a look at the pound dollar. Oh, the pound dollar is awesome. I did run over this in again a few quick hit videos, and I did a live webinar. If you guys remember this, I told you I was looking at this butterfly pattern. I was stopped out, but I was only playing with a small position size on it. So even though it was a 52 pip loser, it was technically just a few pips in relation to what my normal position sizing is. Now this may or may not be valid for you, but I said pay close attention to this structure level right here where we've got this buying pressure, and we come down and we have a potential double bottom. It's ugly, but we have held structure. We've come down, we had the RSI confirmation, we went oversold with divergence. And what I also liked about this was that we had this 3-bar reversal right here with a higher high, higher close. Now we wasn't able to get any follow through with that. Instead we pulled all the way back, but we have held structure and we are at that 126 psychological number. Just before I go and drop to the 240, we have lots and lots of potential here to go higher to the targets of this pattern. So if you cannot get an entry now, waiting and waiting and waiting for your optimum entry with a low risk and a high reward is something that can be obtained on this trade. Let's go down to the 240. Now here on the 240, I'm going to highlight the lowest point just here and the wicks. And because of this large wick here, we technically still do not have a confirmed break below, close below. Now obviously we've moved lower, so I wouldn't use this as a structure trade, even though we do have a clear higher high, higher close candle there. Wouldn't use it as an entry, but it's an indication here that we are not violating, we are failing to put in new lows. The 60 is was it the 60? One second, was it the 60? I may be thinking of another currency pair. Pound dollar head and shoulders. 240. Right, okay, 240 guys. Let me go back to this. Okay, this has the signs, all the signs here of a head and shoulders. So we have a clear swing in the market. I may even take the swing from here. We saw a clear rally, a pullback, a move lower. I would look for the market to either come up to this point, double bottom. I would then wait for a confirmed violation of the V point just here and look for a 26.18 where you buy that 61.8 fib up, or I would wait for a move up here, a clear violation, break above, close above, the outside return, the left shoulder, a pullback and an opportunity to get long in the outside return. I would even drop down the time frames and look for a 60-minute double bottom for internal structure, a 60 or 15-minute head and shoulders with confirmation, and that means that we have a confirmed rotation, like we have an initial structure high, a 3-point move, then something like a 3-bar reversal. The good thing about trades being this size on the dailies is that you can simply wait for all the lower time frame confirmation, and if you get something like a 15 or 60-minute head and shoulders which has an initial structure high, or it was an initial structure high with a double bottom which was also a 26.18, okay, that's lots and lots of confluence added to the higher time frame, and you can be more aggressive because you've waited for the confirmation. So plenty of room here for you to get your entry anywhere within this zone. There is 230 pips up for grabs. Even if we start entering trend, you still have room to go up to target. So pay close attention next week to what happens with that currency pair. New Zealand yen, also another trend continuation opportunity. Again, because of on the New Zealand pairs, they all have these wicks, so pay close attention to that. But yesterday we had a big lower low, lower close candle. Let's drop down to the 240. Not much here, if I'm honest with you. We just trading with inside this wick, but we are trading sideways. So look what we've got. Clear swing in the market, a directional move, and when we trade sideways we sometimes get breakout patterns, and we are moving directionally. What does concern me though is on the 240, if we have a structure level in at our lows and we zoom in, well actually we have violated those lows, so ignore that, that doesn't concern me. Here on the 60, what do we have? Not a great deal. What we could have is a low and tight flag. We are trending in a way where we could see a low and tight flag here. So I would wait for the market to make its test, come back up. If we get an entry up here, I would look at selling it and playing for a 127 fib extension from our swing low to our swing high. If we do something like this, if we do something like this, then there's around 50 pips up for grabs. If not, and we violate, look for a pullback to the outside return and still for a chance to get short. New Zealand dollar. This is looking like this could be a nice opportunity, similar to the pound dollar where we've got the big pattern on the daily time frame. We have right here a Gartley pattern. Now depending where you take your X leg from, it can be this one or this one. Then we have this. We have X to A to B, B to C and CD completion down here. This is a very deep Gartley pattern, and if we just throw on a fib and look for that 127, we've actually just tapped it, and from that point, if I can zoom in, first of all, this would be the X leg for me because we've hit the 127 and we've had a signal. So here are the wicks. So we came into the wicks, which just so happens to be a psychological number 6500. We put in a higher high, higher close, a higher high, higher close, pull back, and this here, look, we failed to retest this level. Okay, there was not enough selling pressure to come down and even retest the closes of the candles, and since then we put in indecision and a higher high, higher close. We have a 3-bar reversal, so strong possibility here that we're going to see a move higher. Where could we see that move higher to? I would play just like the pound dollar for fib based targets, and again there's a lot of room here to go and a lot of pips up for grabs. So if you cannot get your entry now or tomorrow or Tuesday, there is still room to go up to that 38.2 target. There is around 136 pips up for grabs here. If we go to the 240, okay, we had a 60-minute potential head and shoulders here, so we've already had a rotation. So we had a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, a move higher. So here we have an initial structure high, meaning we have violated the outside return. Since then we've pulled lower and we have effectively 1, 2, 3 triple tested this psychological number 6500, and look at what we've done just here. We have a confirmed break above, close above this level. You could treat this as a 2618. Just bear in mind this is not, just let me double check, I don't think this is a double bottom. Oh, actually, let me have a look here at the structure level. Okay, we've got a key level right here, key internal level. I can be more aggressive because we've got the pattern, we've got the fact we didn't come down for the retest, we've got a 3-bar reversal, and look at what we did right here. This has come into a structure level. You could very much treat this as a double or triple bottom, and we have had the violation, so you could now look for the pullback into the 61.8 fib and look at buying it up with stops just below this triple retest and below that 6,500 psychological number. There's a lot of confluence here and a lot of places to hide your stops. If you want more confirmation, I would wait for a break of this level. You now have a head and shoulders, so you have the left shoulder, the head, the initial structure high, the triple bottom, the violation, and look for another pullback and a chance to get long. Lots and lots of opportunities. Here on the 60 you already have more confirmation. This was another potential head and shoulders looking like this. So we had a move lower, we had a pullback, we had a move lower, we had a pullback, we had a move lower. Our head and shoulders looking like this, and right now we've violated to the upside, giving us another initial structure high. So again, lower time frame, giving lots and lots of signals here that we could be seeing a potential rotation. Look for a pullback potentially into the wicks here and a chance to get long. Just out of curiosity, where does that 61.8 fib come in? Looking for a 26.18. Okay, that's what I'll be looking for on the New Zealand dollar. And the last one, this video has been long, guys, but there is an awful lot of potential. Look at the beautiful, lovely, big lower low, lower close candle right there. Structure level on at our lows. We have not reached the target, the place where I would expect price to go to. 64 pips up for grabs. Let's go and take a look at the 240. I would first of all be looking at a small counter trend move here using an AB equals CD pattern. Do we have any fibs down there? Yep, we've got a 1618 fib down there, and it does come into a level of structure as well. Okay, so this is where we're at currently. If we look left, did see structure. This is it right here, a key level right here, a key level. Okay, pay attention to a counter trend move using that AB equals CD pattern, and I would play for fib based targets, so 38.2 and 68.1 if they are your rules. Because we're moving so directionally, personally I would only play for the 382, which comes into the structure level. I would also wait for the 1618 fib extension to be tested, and you do have the RSI right now which is oversold, so you're looking for an entry reason at this zone. This is the 240, so like the pound dollar, the New Zealand dollar, where we have higher time frame patterns, you have plenty of time and room for double bottoms and head and shoulders and 3-bar reversals to form on the lower time frame and still have a great reward to risk. Here on the 60, look at this directional movement. If here again oversold, this would be beautiful for a lovely double bottom here at that structure level and a chance to ride it on up. You would be looking in the region of around 90 pips. And then what I would do, if we just go back to the 240, if we do come up to this zone to hit targets, this is your outside return. I would then look at shorting the market. Okay, first targets here, second targets based on the dailies, which we looked at just a moment ago, which is this structure level. So plenty and plenty of opportunities out there, guys. Of course, some of those bigger ones, wait for the confirmation. That confirmation will provide you high probability trades. Be safe trading, and I will speak to you all tomorrow.